are staying in room 1 because they want to enjoy the presentations here. Thank you. So welcome again, and thank you for staying in room 1. Over to you, Ellie.
Okay, so let us get started with the first presentation, which is coming from Mei Fang. And Mei Fang is going to talk to us about motivation and engagement in long-term teacher research programs. Okay, so can we have that presentation get started?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, and thank you. And I know that Zenning is going to keep an eye on the clock. Okay, thank you very much. Over to you.
So hello everyone, this is Mei Fang Zhuo. So this one-year teacher research program is also my PhD project at University of Warwick in the UK. I have 11 experienced high school English teacher participants with an average of over 18 years teaching experience. And in the midst of our project, I discovered that teachers' enthusiasm in the project seemed to decline. And the interaction in the group that I built for them was less active, and I also found it really hard for me to fix the date for the next workshop. Therefore, I decided to do something about that. So the following are what I did to tackle this issue. So first, I tried to learn some new ways of communicating with my mentees, and then I also tried to share opportunities with my mentees for them to gain sense of achievement. So I provide opportunities for them to share their classroom research in our workshops. And I also introduce them to international teacher research magazines and including publications. I also brought some of them to the teacher research conferences. And third thing I did is that I also reviewed my role as a mentor. So I re-examined my purpose of being a mentor, my own well-being, and my understanding towards the teachers. Last but not least, I also enacted the power of positive peer pressure. It's also like peer collaboration. So I paired two teachers up in their cycle of doing action research, so they could learn from each other, and then also like to promote each other to be more engaged in the project. On the other hand, I also suggest teachers to keep a record of their learning journey, like a reflection journal, if they identify some issues, and they could discuss with me and we can find a way out together. Last, I also encourage teachers' initiatives within the community that I build up, because a lot of the experienced teachers I mentioned before, they are also leaders of their English department at their own school. So I try to link different schools together and try to promote their initiatives. And after all this have done, we are now near the end of my project, one-year project. And the level of teachers' engagement, I believe, is sustained, and none of the 11 teachers quit. The majority are still active members despite their busy schedule. However, there are still 3 that are kind of drifting away from the project, but it's more due to their personal issues like health issue, family issue, or self-discipline. And the second thing is we see concrete academic output. So 2 of my teachers already published in Modern English Teacher. Some of you already read like one of the article. And also most of you have listened to the teacher research, classroom research they shared at Teacher Research Conferences 2023. The third one is teachers' own awareness of their self-discipline and engagement for their own growth also improved. They found they now is more responsible for their own growth. And last, for my role as a mentor, so I have more objective view about my role as a mentor and more empathetic towards my mentees and their busy schedule and a lot of things that they need to deal with in their own daily life. So my final reflections is that I also discussed with some of you in the teacher research community. I said that I always beat myself up for teachers' low efficiency and lack of engagement in teacher research. And I doubt whether I am a qualified teacher research mentor, although I know I'm a novice, but I always think that I'm kind of doing a lot of things. So after exploring the issue, I realized that it is actually a common issue in a lot of teacher research programs across the world. Even the project was led by very experienced teacher research mentors. And we could do little things to change the reality of teachers' busy schedule. And the secret to successful teacher mentoring, I think, is multifaceted. Of course, it requires a mentor to have a solid knowledge of like popular ways for doing teacher research, the willingness to support the teachers, and so on. But I also realized that for the mentees, they also need to take their own responsibility for learning. And only when mentors and mentees working together can they achieve like a fruitful result of the teacher research projects. But of course, for a mentor, if he or she is more empathetic, more skillful in communicating, and it would be things would be easier for both sides. So this is basically my story. Thank you for your listening. I guess my time is up, right? I'm keeping the recording. No, the timing, sorry.
Okay.
Thank you. I have just made a mention that if you have questions arising while the presentations are happening, Zenning will be kind enough to scroll through them and we can come back to those questions, or you can just put up your hand and ask anything after the first 4 presentations are over. Mariana?
Yes, thank you very much, Ellie. Well, is Eric over there? Hello, Eric. Let's see. He joined us at the very beginning of the conference, but he may have some technological problems. Let's see, maybe, yes. Ellie, do you think we can go ahead with Giannu's presentation?
Yes, I think that would be the solution for the time being, and then see if Eric can come back again.
That's all right. Thank you. Would you like to introduce her and her presentation, please?
Yes, indeed. This is very interesting to me because I have often been working in cross-cultural contexts. Lately, I've been connecting my mentees from Ecuador and Uzbekistan. Those who were part of it will remember. So I'm really interested in cross-cultural mentoring experiences, and this is what Giannu is going to tell us about. Thank you, Giannu.
Thank you so much, Ellie and Mariana. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us in room 1. It's me, Giannu Dahal. I'm from Nepal, and currently I'm in the UK. So I'm sharing my cross-cultural mentoring experience last year and this year in the beginning. Especially cross-cultural mentoring is the mentoring relationship with individuals from different cultures, background, and context. What I found in my experience is it's very interesting to know others' classroom context and then background. So to share our experience and to listen to that experience, it was really wonderful experience for me. I have better chance to work in diversity. So I'm sharing this. Last year in August 2022 to March 2023, I got chance to work in British Council EAR project in Thailand. I have mentored 10 mentee teachers from Thailand who are working in government school from different provinces of Thailand. They were teaching in primary to secondary level and higher secondary level as well. So teachers were very enthusiastic, and I myself were, and as an experienced mentor as well as mentor trainer, I always focus on time management. Time management is the great issue for all of us, all the teachers from across the world, wherever we are, whether inside the classroom or outside the classroom, always we are busy. So I always focus on time management is the key to the successful research mentoring project. So what I focus is like while preparing the planner and making the plan for the whole mentoring project, we need to sit together, mentor, mentee sit together and then prepare the plan. So what we have got is in this project, we were sent the plan from the project management committee. We were not involved in preparing the plan, but also everything was okay. I was also sharing my classroom experience of my from Nepal and then from UK, and teachers were also sharing. We were having very good conversation between us. But what I found challenging is because of the different time zone. I was mentoring them from UK and then they were from Thailand. So it was around 6 hours time differences. So we got challenged for that. So to cope up with this challenge, I prepared myself to be flexible as much as possible and to use any means of communication, whether Facebook or Messenger or Line or WhatsApp or video call or chat. Everything was open for me. I made flexible to work even in weekends or early in the morning or late evening as well. So everything went well. Because of the teachers' enthusiasm and mine as well, we could be able to complete our project. However, it was very hard for me to adapt myself working in weekends, working till late night or getting up early in the mornings, though I had classes during daytime in schools, but we did, and then teachers were very happily they could be able to complete their project, and they had presented among themselves as well as with the other teachers in Thai TESOL project. The joyful moment for us was when they got chance to present their report in IATEFL Teacher Resource SIG. They were very happy and proud of themselves as well as me to get that opportunity to present their project in international platform. And from this project, what I have learned is, as a mentor, we should be always ready to adapt ourselves, because there may occur unanticipated issues as well in mentoring process. So we should be always flexible, committed, hardworking as a mentor for successful mentoring program. We should be ready for everything. We should also have plan B for successful mentoring program. And for that, we should be self-motivated and then motivate our teachers as well, our mentees as well. And we should always be responsible for our work. As a mentor, what I have felt is I always try to be trustworthy for my mentees so that they would be open for the conversation and we will have meaningful conversation between us. And I try to be empathetic and kind for them and supportive for them. So they find it very easy to be with me, contact with me. They were also interested. They found it was unique opportunity for them because they were not learning the ideas of the classroom experience of Nepal, but also UK. So it was interesting for them. And then whenever they got time, they used to contact me for the conversation, for the mentoring process. So in future, if I have like this type of mentoring opportunity, then I would sit together with my mentees for making plan. I would try to know about their background, their context before starting the real project. And also I would spend 1-2 weeks with them before starting our EAR project, our EAR cycle. So I try to be as much friendly as possible as I am now, and good listener, empathetic. And I try to create a very good environment for optimal learning experience for my mentees and enough opportunity to reflect themselves. And I try to work in collaboration, be emotional and psychological supporter as well, and trustworthy and encouraging all the time. I should be encouraging for my mentees, I think so. And finally, the last word is I try to be a good role model for my mentees. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Giano. Thank you so much. Wonderful presentation. All right, so it's Mei Fan's turn again. Yes, yes, because Eric is not hasn't joined us again. Maybe later. Yes, so this time she will be sharing her mentoring story about the benefits and the drawbacks or problems of introducing teachers to international publications and conferences. So over to you, Manfand.
Hi again, sorry, I'm kind of dominating the talks. So this story is actually built on the one I shared with you just now, because as I mentioned before, I introduced my teachers to international publications and even brought them to international teacher research conferences. And I would give you a brief introduction on my project again, so you know that why it becomes a problem to me. So this one-year teacher research program includes 3 workshops and 2 cycles of classroom practice. After the first classroom practice, I introduced teachers to international publications and conferences. I urge them to share and disseminate their findings or their classroom research with teachers across the world. And teachers did manage to write up their classroom research and also share at the teacher research conferences. However, after that, they seemed to be more interested in publications than to engage in my project. And this became a dilemma for me because this is my PhD project. I could not wait for them to finish one article and then coming back for my teacher research project. And I also identified that teachers actually, although they published something on international magazines, they still have a long way to go to have a solid knowledge of teacher research, including theories and their academic writing skills. So in order to find out if I made a bad a terrible mistake for myself, I try to analyze and find the answer to my own questions. So I analyze my own reflections during the journey, and also I ask the teachers to record their feelings after they attend the teacher research conferences. Regarding my own reflections, I found that it is indeed a dilemma for me as a PhD researcher, because I have a tight schedule to fulfill and I need to complete my project within that time. However, I did that for a good reason, because I sincerely hope that teachers could share their research with the wider community. And I also hope that they could get a sense of doing teacher research, a sense of achievement doing teacher research. And second, that it's kind of, I realized that it's a danger for my teachers as well, because they could fall into the pitfall of chasing 3 minutes of fame. And they do not have the awareness, like correct awareness of their true writing abilities, since I always proofread their writings and even make revisions several times for them before they submit it. And the third is, I also realized that it's actually about teachers' awareness instead of their engagement in the teacher research project, like their understanding of how have a solid knowledge of teacher research and finish this teacher research project could like contribute to their growth. The decisions are always in the hands of teachers. I could guide them, but I could never force them. I also discovered that teachers could learn, like not to learn, and forgot their initial motivation, why they signed up for the project at the very beginning, because they all said that they wanted to learn how to do research, but then they tried to give up, like doing other things in the middle of the journey. So these are my reflections. And regarding teachers' own reflections, they actually regard like especially the engagement teacher research conferences as a chance to learn about other research, as a chance to improve their own way of doing research, and a chance to reflect their own way of doing research or their own role transformation into a teacher researcher. And they also take this as a chance to understand the importance of engaging students in their own teaching and for their professional development. Last but not least, they also regard the opportunity as a platform to network with teachers with the same passion across the world. So my final reflection is there is actually no definite, no fixed answer to my question, but for my own case, I think I introduced teachers to professional publications or presentations, and the advantages outweigh the disadvantages because teachers really feel they gain something from this journey. But for my role as a PhD project, maybe this kind of be a disadvantage. So if you are a mentor and the time, it's a big issue for you, maybe you should finish your project first and then introduce teachers to the publications or conferences. But for teachers to gain sense of achievement and to sustain their motivation and carry on teacher research in the future, probably we could introduce them in the midst of the teacher research project. So this is basically my story. Thank you for your listening again.
Thank you very much. That was great. Really a lovely summary of what you've been doing and how it is related to your previous work. I can see that Susan would like to talk about maybe this or something else. Susan, would you like to unmute yourself and make your contribution? Because we are already starting our discussion. Should Eric turn up, we can always fit him in. Okay, Susan, over to you.
It wasn't necessarily that I wanted to say anything, but I was just really interested in Ivy's story because it was just so similar to my own, trying to combine doctoral research and teacher research. In fact, I actually wrote a chapter in an IATEFL book about it, I think, about wearing two hats. So Ivy, yeah, no, I'm there with you. It's really tough, and the ethical dilemmas that come up. I mean, the bottom line of ethics is do no harm. And I was constantly asking myself with my students who were part of my research, you know, am I more interested in my project than I am in their learning? And how do I deal with this sort of wanting to collect data for my PhD, but also at the same time, listening to their needs and giving them what they need at this particular point. So just I found that a really interesting experience. So thank you, Ivy.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think that's, thank you.
Yeah, somebody else put up her hand, I think, for a minute. Is there somebody else who would like to contribute? Or maybe Zenning, you can tell us if anybody asked a question regarding the first three presentations.
Yes, Ali, we do have some questions for Ivy and for Gayanu, but I just noticed Eric just joined us. Shall we listen to his presentation first, and then we can start the Q&A and discussion? Is that okay?
I think that would make a lot of sense.
All right. Thank you very much, Zenning and Ali. Well, now, please join me in welcoming Eric. Thank you for being here, Eric, for joining us. Can you hear us, Eric? Let's see. He has just joined us.
Can you hear me, please?
Oh, yes, we can hear you very well. Thank you very much, Eric. So, Eric.
Yes, I'm sorry. I opened two windows and I left this room and joined the other meeting unconsciously. Sorry about that.
Okay, Eric.
I'm happy I found my way back.
Yes, thanks God. Eric will be sharing his experience, his mentoring experience, while working with a large group of teachers for a year. And he will end up his presentation with an exploration of how the journey created an opportunity for him to unlearn his established practices and gain further awareness of the implications of teacher research and professional development in context of top-down pedagogies. Over to you, Eric.
Thank you very much. Marianne, my name is Eric Kembe. As you said, I'm a teacher educator at the Higher Teacher Training College, the main college of education in the city capital, Cameroon, Yaoundé. I've mentored teachers for the past 3 years, but this time I had a different experience mentoring a large group of teachers for over a year. And how did we get to this point? Last year, May 25th, IATEFL ReSIG supported teachers, local teachers in Cameroon to participate in a conference, a hybrid conference we organized here. We had about £13. We gave £13 to about 20 teachers who attended the conference. The reason for this support was to create an awareness on teacher research, because I'd mentored a smaller group of about 6 teachers. Now, the hybrid conference was intended to create an awareness to a larger cohort, to a larger group of teachers, so they know what teacher research is. So in this hybrid conference, we had so many teachers who came in contact with teacher research for their first time, because the whole idea of research is scary. I'm sorry, my eyeglasses, I'm using them because the rays of the computers are beginning to affect my eyes. I hope it doesn't pose any problem, please. So we had these teachers from Cameroon, Democratic Republic of Congo, Sierra Leone, who participated in the conference. Like I said, it was a hybrid event. So after that, we asked the teachers, the participants in the conference, to opt to be mentored. And we had a group of over 72 teachers. But along the line, the majority of teachers who joined our WhatsApp group had done teacher research before, because it came from Sierra Leone. And so they backed out, because it seems as if we were actually repeating the kind of things they had done with Professor Rama. A good number of them backed out. And then a good number of them from the DR Congo couldn't sustain the journey, because, like I said, I was trying to reflect on how this worked. The journey took a very long time, and it worked so many teachers up. So at the end, we had 32 teachers who followed us consistently throughout the year. Now, what were we doing for all this while, for this long period of time? We had 4 different phases of webinars and interaction or meetings. The first one was input webinars. In input webinars, we decided to create further awareness on teacher research, because we discovered that just participating in a conference was not sufficient enough for the teachers to understand what teacher research is. So we organized webinars fortnightly from May 25th right up to May 22nd. Yeah, we had webinars every fortnight. So the first set of webinars were intended to create further awareness and get teachers have a comprehensive understanding of what teacher research is. And then we shifted to output webinars. Output webinars were intended to give the stage to the mentees to start sharing their own ideas across different stages of teacher research, beginning from identifying a topic, crafting research questions, and developing the methodology. So we gave them opportunity to start sharing their own stories. And this was done intentionally because we wanted to start creating building competencies, online presentation competencies, which very much were lacking in the teachers here. So we thought that was a way through which we could walk them through that journey. So before we get to the end, organizing another conference, they will have developed sufficient online presentation skills. And I think it worked so well with us through that. Now, after the output webinars, we went through a documentation phase. We got them write out their stories. Writing here is something very challenging, because when teachers leave school, they hardly find a reason to write. They just have to go and teach. And so it becomes another kind of activity which teachers have to do when you have them write coordinated stuff. So we developed another series of interaction, both WhatsApp and Zoom meetings, through which we got them to write their stories and receive feedback. And I was there all the time to answer the questions while they were writing their stories. And right now, we have 15 completed stories. I'll call them completed locally. I know this thing, we still have to do a lot of work to get them to publishable format, but we can say that you can find a plot of a teacher research. You can understand how the teachers started and where they got to. Then 2 more are coming in. So we're sure that we're going to have over 17 completed stories of teacher research well documented. Now, what other thing did we do to facilitate the writing process? We taught them how to create their own blogs and feed their blogs with stories of what was happening organically. And so it helped us a lot. Right now we have 15 blogs created by teachers with stories and with pictures of their classrooms and their work environment. Now, all of this, what does this mean to me? Initially, I had styled this journey, a very difficult journey. And I wasn't so sure I would have 10 write-ups from the beginning, to be fair with you, because I know in the context, having been trained in a context of top-down pedagogies in which you are told what to do. And I was getting the teachers into a different style in which I was doing the enhancement approach. And I was like, this has never been our culture here. Teachers are told what to do, right from their primary school journey, secondary school, teacher education. Even when they get to the field, they are told what to do. It's a culture. And now we came into a system in which they were supported to develop their own stories. Now, from my own perspective, I discovered that the number of questions I had to answer.
Sorry to interrupt, Eric. It's just we're running out of the 5 minutes. So maybe we can go back to you later. Is that okay, Ali and Mariana? Shall we let Eric continue, or shall we move back to Ivy's and Gayanu's Q&A?
I think perhaps Eric could just sum up what he would like to say, like in 30 seconds, if you would.
I can do that.
Yes,
That's
a great idea. Your story is very interesting, Eric. We want to go on listening. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. So what I was saying is that we were getting into another culture. Teachers were getting into another culture of trying to do things on their own with minimal instructions and advice. And what I'd learned from my own angle was that there's a lot of sacrifice that you have to do because you answer many questions for one thing from one person. And that's just not because the person is weak or mentally ill-equipped. It's simply because they are changing into a new system, getting into a new system. Now, the results are fantastic because the teachers we have today, we had a good number of them made 6 of them made presentations in the last IATEFL online presentation conference. And the whole group now feel sufficiently equipped to stand and confront an international audience. That's the greatest part of my story. And now this changes my mindset of what I perceive these teachers to be, what I thought these teachers were. And it tells me a story of what it gives me an understanding of what teacher research is all about. Sometimes the time frame we give ourselves should have context implication. If you have to undo a system and get teachers unlearn their own practices, then we have to be flexible with our own time framing. And that also implies a lot of sacrifice from the part of the mentees and a lot of patience. I want to stop here, and I hope we'll have more questions during the questions and answer session, Maria. Thank you so much for your patience with me.
Thank you so much, Eric. Over to you, Ellie.
Indeed, I was just meaning to say that through the questions and contributions, you might have a chance to speak again. Anna, would you like to say something, please?
No, it's just that when I looked at Eric's Padlet, he mentioned things that he had to unlearn, and I was interested in hearing what it was he unlearned. That's all.
You just want me to explain that, Anna?
Sorry?
Do you want me to explain what I mean by
No,
learning?
that was the question I had. I don't know what Ellie, I don't, there's nothing I would like to hear it. Maybe, I don't know, I'm not organizing, but that's what I'm really interested in hearing about. What it was you unlearned. in order
Yeah.
to then become a better mentor.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Perhaps let's go through some
Okay.
other questions and come back to Eric, because he's been given a little longer than the average, and then we'll see if we have time to return to that one. Zenning, did you say that some people had questions in the
Yes.
chat box?
We do have some questions. For now, I will just stop the recording because we did say at the beginning the Q&A will not be recorded.